Hey, what's going on, guys? Dr. Jason Torado here. We are back. I think this picture looks pretty good. Just hanging out here in my house, right on my couch. So, today I was actually going to go over some practice building tips. Uh, but I want to change it up a little bit today. I was on a strategy call this morning, and with a chiropractor, and we were talking about the fear of failure. And it seemed as if when I was talking to this chiropractor, uh, and I'm not going to mention his name, he was really, it seemed as if he was being completely paralyzed by the idea of really just failing in business. He had limited money. He's been in practice for about a year, and he didn't want to spend money on practice management, didn't want to spend any money on Google advertising, didn't want to spend any money on updating his website, because not that he didn't have it, but he had limited funds. And that's real common with a lot of chiropractors, because when we start our practices, we owe over $200,000 in in school in school loans, and we scrape by to be able to open up an office, and then we really don't even have enough money to be able to get things going. But in reality, what this doctor had was he had a failure to he really was afraid to succeed, because he was really focusing on failure. And so what I want to tell a lot of you guys and you doctors out there is that failure is extremely important. In fact, I found out, and I was just like this doc when I started off my practice. I mean, although I was gung ho, I wanted to do a lot of things. I was really afraid to fail as well, and I realized that in order to succeed, you actually had to fail. I mean, failure was a very, very big part of success. And so if I really wanted to be successful, then I had better start to get very, very comfortable with succeeding. And I realized that over time, that the more that I actually failed, and the quicker, it really just meant the quicker that I could succeed in whatever it is that I was working on or doing. So that kind of reminds me of an old sports cliche. They say, maybe you know this, or maybe I'm just showing my age, you miss all the shots that you never take, right? So what does that mean? It also means that you never really, it means that you never miss, right? But never missing doesn't really matter if you're never taking the shot in the first place. So think about that for a minute. So what really stops people? What stops you? And I think it's because most people, or most chiropractors, are really just afraid of failing in practice. They're scared of what might happen if they miss the shot, I guess. And what I find in talking to, I have clients that do very, very well, and I have clients that don't do very well, and I try to figure out, like, what is the difference between the two of them. And I think it's most super successful chiropractors really aren't afraid of taking the shot. They're just the opposite, right? They want to take the shot. They want the ball. It's like Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Those guys always want the ball. Are they going to miss? Yeah, they might miss sometimes, right? But they're not afraid to take that shot. And what happens in the mind of those successful chiropractors and those basketball players I was telling you about, is that they're actually afraid what might happen if they don't take the shot. And like, that's why those great players, they don't even want to pass the ball. They want it because they're afraid that if they give it to anybody else, they're going to lose the game. Those guys are afraid that if they don't, that those guys, what might happen if they don't take a shot? I mean, that's pretty ballsy, right? That's pretty crazy. And so if you think about that in the context of your own practice, being scared to take the shot, so to speak, means that you're really just scared of just something that might not work in your practice. Like maybe not doing some type of marketing, or maybe not buying a piece of equipment, or maybe not hiring that practice consultant, or whatever. What happens is, you never take the shot because you're paralyzed. And so the result of that, right? The result of that is if your practice just plateaus or just stays the same. And it really never changes. And that means that you really never know if you could really change your practice for the better. So it's really that fear just kind of holds, and that fear of failure holds so many would-be super successful chiropractors from ever really achieving like that success that they really should get. And so many chiropractors, they just feel failure so much that they really never take they never do what needs to be done. They never take the action that needs to be done to change their life, to change their practice, and really to have freedom, the freedom and the things that they want in life. And so if you can't change your practice, then you cannot, then you can't make more money. And if you can't make more money, then you can't get anything. And if you can't get anything, then you can't give more to people. And that's one of the reasons why we become chiropractors, so that we can give more to people. So, here's the big secret. I want to go on a rant here, but what you need to know about failure is that, like I said before, failure really is a huge, huge part of success. And so if you point to any successful chiropractor in practice, and not me, I'm talking about like other chiropractors that you see are very successful. If you interview those guys or those girls, those doctors, and I have interviewed so many of them. That's the way I was when I was starting my practice, or in practice, and I was building my practice. I used to always interview those super successful chiropractors because I wanted to know, like, what are they doing that's getting them to be very successful. But if you look at any successful chiropractor out there that's really, really kicking ass in business, right? If you point to any of them, I would bet that 99% of those chiropractors have definitely failed multiple times in practice before they achieved any kind of success, any success at all. But those same chiropractors, they're not remembered by their failures. Instead, those chiropractors, they're remembered as great chiropractors that just pushed and until they became very, very successful, But let's say that you decided to not take the shot for some reason, or you chose to just not do anything different in practice. You decided to just keep things, play it safe and keep things exactly the way that it is, that practice is right now. You didn't do anything. Let's say you were just kind of pleasantly just kind of coasting through your practice right now. What do you really think happens? I mean, think about that, because that's a big majority of our profession. What really, really happens? The reality is that there is some change. Most of the doctors think that nothing's going to change. But the reality is that things really do change. What really happens to your practice when you decide to just leave things alone and not do anything is that your practice begins to dip, and it dips even more. And it dips even more until you're actually forced to do something about that. Okay? And so you see, the strategies and systems that you're using right now that aren't getting results right now, they're not just going to spontaneously just start to work. What's going to happen is you're just going to keep getting the exact same outcome because you're just too afraid to just change things up in business and take that free throw, take that shot, take that last second shot in your business. So, all right. So why am I going crazy with this right now? Maybe it's because maybe because I lived through it, and maybe because I had this conversation with this chiropractor this morning. But maybe it's also because my purpose, really, my goal is, because I've actually gone through all this stuff before, I've kind of switched around my thinking from trying to be successful now, which I've already got to where I want it to be in practice, to really making my purpose is to get you, who's listening right now, to get you to take the shot, to get you ready for success in your practice. And that's why I actually spend the time doing this. That's what I really want for you. And I want you to realize that there really is more out there for you in practice, if you in business, in life, if you take more shots. I want to teach you, new systems. There are systems that you can use in your practice, very simple systems that you can use, common sense fundamentals that really create real outcomes inside your business. And they work. I know they work. I've used them. They work. And guys that I give information to know that they work. And to be honest with you, success really isn't that far. You can just go Google something right now and go get a success tip, and you can implement it into your practice. And more than likely, it's going to work. But fear of failure prevents you from doing that, prevents you from being consistent, from doing that. And so, look, I know simple fundamentals work in practice. Things that I tell the guys that I coach, they work in practice. But look, maybe right now you're not sure. Let's say right now maybe you think you're successful, or maybe you're not sure if you're successful. So, like I always say, success leaves clues. Here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to look around you for a quick second. Just kind of look around you. I'm in my house right now. And if you're in your office or if you're in your house, look around yourself right now. If things don't seem right, if let's say you're not eating clean, if you're not, if you find that maybe you're 20, 30 pounds overweight, if you're drinking lots of alcohol every single night, if you're arguing with people, if you seem to get triggered by people, or if you get triggered by the news very, very easily. And I see a lot of people getting triggered every single day, political arguments, Democrat, Republicans. If you're filled with worry and stress inside the practice, and let's say you're feeling frustrated, or let's say you're not even, you can't get sleep at nighttime, then more than likely, you're not successful, right? That's not a good definition of successful. But if the opposite is happening, if you enjoying your day, to the best of your ability, if you're helping out people, if you're giving to other people, if you've got God inside your thoughts on a daily basis, and what you do daily is done with honor, you're doing things with integrity, and if you also accept, change, that the only constant in your life is change and God, then more than likely, you're probably kicking ass. You're probably doing incredible in practice and in life right now. But look, if you're not successful right now, and then you need to let go of a lot of those things that I just mentioned, because and get rid of those things, and don't let your fear hold you back. Stop doing the things the way that you always did them, because that's only going to get you nowhere really quickly. And sure, you might make some mistakes in life and in practice. That's guaranteed. I've made tons of mistakes, but you learn from these things. You learn valuable lessons that can help you whenever you decide to take your next shot. And over time, as you work with a consultant or a coach, or if you work with me, you'll actually start to score more shots in your practice and in your business, and you'll actually become very comfortable with taking shots in life and in your business. And over time, you'll become very, very successful. I can almost guarantee that, right? That's how success is not an overnight thing. And so, look, let me just kind of end this really quick, because I don't want to get too caught up on this. I don't want to sound like an Anthony Robbins, but I think you can be successful if your practice isn't where it's at. I'd like you to be my next testimonial. And if you've got any questions, you could, ask me. I'd be more than happy to work with you. Be more than happy to help you out, answer your questions that you might have in practice. Right? It's great to be able to have someone out there that can answer questions for you. Whatever you feel like you're getting stuck. When I was in practice, when I started up my practice, there was no Facebook Live, right? There was none of that stuff. You didn't have forums that you could ask people questions. And so now these forums are out there, and you can ask tons of questions. It's really amazing. So look, I hope some of this actually makes sense. I hope some of this maybe hits home. Again, I know I normally talk about some practice building methods that usually work. I'm going to do that the next time we get together. Today was really, I just wanted to focus on, the fear of failure and how it really has an impact in your business. I guess because I was on a conversation with a chiropractor this morning. I wish you well. And thanks for sitting in on my Facebook Live. And if any of this was good, helps you out, if you get any type of value from what I'm telling you, then I would ask that you please just click below and like this, and maybe even share it with maybe another chiropractor out there that that might be, might be maybe struggling in practice, or maybe they might be fearing success, and maybe need that little push to be able to get them to that next level. So that's it, guys. I'll talk to you soon, and take care.